Afternoon, 6th period.
The objective is to find the standard deviation of data grouped into classes. To find the standard deviation of data grouped into classes. Here's an example. You have a table here, and on the left-hand side, you have salaries. So somebody makes $3,600, another $4,000. The third one makes $4,500, and the fifth one, or the fourth one, makes $5,000. Those are salary amounts, and on the right-hand side is the frequency. It's how many people make that much money. So you have 2 people making $3,600, and 3 people making $4,000, and then 5 people making $4,500, and 4 people making $5,000. To find the standard deviation, you're going to use the same process as you did last week, except you have a couple of things to do differently for the mean and the standard deviation. First, you have to find the mean. So the mean is all of the numbers added up divided by the number of numbers. You have 2 3,600s. Don't write them twice. Just write 2 times 3,600. And then 3 times 4,000. And then 5 times 4,500. And 4 times 5,000. So you can take a shortcut. Now you have to divide all those by the number of numbers you have. So don't make this mistake. Don't make the mistake of thinking you have 1, 2, 3, 4 numbers. Don't divide by 4. You have 2, 5, 10. You have a total of 14 numbers. So if you do that problem, you'll figure out what the average is. So when you perform those calculations at the bottom, you should get a mean of 4407.1. Now the standard deviation, don't forget from the previous screen we had an X bar that equals 4407.1. Now for the standard deviation, you're still going to do the item minus the mean and square it, but there's a shortcut for that as well. So from before, you would do 3,600 minus 4407.1. That's the item minus the mean. And then square that. But you have 2 3,600s. So you don't have to write this thing again. You just have to put 2 in front of that. You're multiplying that outcome by 2. And then do the same thing for 4,000. And we're going to add to that 3. Since we have 3 4,000s, we'll do 4,000 minus 4407.1. And we have a 4,500. We'll subtract 4407 from that, 0.1. And we have 5 of those, so you're multiplying by 5 on the outside. And then the last one, we have 4 of those. And it's 5,000 minus 4407.1. And square that. So again, that's all on the top, but don't make the mistake of dividing by 4, because you don't have 4 numbers. You have how many numbers from that we added up before? We have 14. That comes from 2 plus 3 is 5, plus 5 is 10, plus 4 is 14. And once you do all that, you have to find the square root, and that will give you a standard deviation. 481.8 if you round to the tens place for the standard deviation. Alright, on this one, to find the mean, you're going to have to do 4 times 25 and then plus 30 times 6 plus 40 times 3 and then plus 55 times 2. Divide all that by 4, 10, 13, 15. So when we go back to add up, we're going to have 100 and 180 is 280. 280 and 120 is 400. 400 plus 110 would be 510. 510 divided by 15 should be 34. Should have an x-bar of 34 to start with. Now if you missed the mean, then chances are you missed the standard deviation. The mean ended up being 34, so now we need the standard deviation, and to find that you're going to have 25 minus 34, square that, and then multiply by 4, and then you'll have 6 times 30 minus 34, square that, and 3 times 40 minus 34, square that, and 2 times 55 minus 34, square that. Divide everything by 15, and then you need a square root. And the answer on that, 9.7.